recalling some research that I did a long time ago on the methods of how they kept not American at this point, how they kept enslaved people during American slavery dependent on their masters, because there are so many more enslaved people than masters, but they never revolted except for Nat Turner and a few people. But it was one method that they did was when one enslaved person did something wrong, they would not whip them in isolation. They would whip them in front of everyone. Like they would use them as a way of, you do something wrong, this is you. And they created this insidious trauma onto everyone else. So I started connecting like, yo, why is it that all of these videos of black people being killed is so accessible? It's in our face 24/7. It's like, why is this even being able to be shared on Facebook? Why is it when I go on CNN or whatever, I'm seeing the same freaking clip over and over and over? And then I'm getting riled up every time. I'm getting like crying, and I'm like, there's something here that I feel is on purpose. So I started just to question how that was, governing my reality, to where if this was absent, would I feel like this? Not to say I shouldn't know that these things are happening, but if I wasn't bombarded with this every day, would I feel literally like on the defense every second? And it wasn't just police. Someone said something crazy to me. I was ready to just eat. But the thing is okay. Let me rewind. See, I'm getting upset now. Okay, let me rewind.
Yeah, this podcast is just purely to upset you. This is my main goal. I'm just trying to start some shit in the podcasting community. There's gonna be a big payoff, like a boxing match between us, like hilarious. Jake Paul and some other celebrity. We'll start the podcast boxing mixed martial arts matches.
Like, I'm gonna just make her think about that, Kid Cudi, and then I'm just gonna completely go in.
Start with the soft stuff and then just go in hard. But
this is fun. The thing is I do believe in like non-violence and everything. Like I believe King had it right, Martin Luther King. So no, I wouldn't be popping off at everyone. But if I felt, I would do it in a way that maybe wasn't the best way. Like if someone asked a question that I felt like they could literally find on Google, I'd be like, better if you might Google that or whatever. And then I started thinking like, is that right though? I'm like, if someone's coming to me to get information that they really don't know, should I be telling them to Google it? Because that's pretty condescending. I started thinking, now I wasn't saying this out loud because I knew a lot of other people doing it, but I'm thinking, I don't think this works.
It makes sense. It makes sense though, because if you are constantly subjected to a barrage of videos or audio clips or a combination of both of something that is a possibility that may happen to you, and you become aware of it, the question is, how many more videos do you need to watch, or how is watching these videos benefiting the way that you are going to live a safe and fulfilling life after you're already aware of the possibility that it's going to happen? And I don't know what that's like to watch, videos of people getting murdered that are black because they don't look like me. Like as a black person, I'll never know what it's like to watch that. But my dad actually does something to me when I travel or I'm doing something that's relatively risky, but more just risky for my parents because everyone has different risk tolerances. I'll go snowboarding, or I went down to Colombia in South America this past year, and something my dad always does, whether he realizes he's doing it or not, is he heightens my anxiety because he will think he's doing me a favor by sending me the most horrific news that happens in that region. And he's like, watch out, 4 tourists got their heads chopped off by the Colombian cartel in this jungle. It's 250 miles away from you. Or 4 snowmobilers just killed an avalanche 2 miles away from where you're staying. And I'm like,
oh my gosh.
I'm aware that this is a possibility. Like, I'm already aware this is a possibility. And I know my dad is simply doing it out of some anxiety within himself to share in it with me because he's like worried about it. I'm already aware of these possibilities. I'm aware that even though the cartel is nowhere near the height of its power, that it still exists in Colombia. I'm aware that people die in avalanches. I don't need, 14 articles about this before I go somewhere. At that point, it's taking away from my experience. So if I was going to compare watching Black people get murdered unjustly as a Black person to something in my life that I could relate to, that would be the closest thing I can think of is my dad sending me articles of shit that statistically is improbable, but like it comes from a good place of him trying to make me aware.
Exactly.